Now, this journey is particularly special. Mr. Sami was telling so many great things about Mr. Ruslan that he
Mhm.
started studying after 20 years when he went back for PGMP, almost 20 years.
It was a quite long period because for the last at least 15 years, my life was very dynamic on the different projects, on the a lot of challenges, and I didn't have a time for the study for the let's say education. But this is a good. I think that the program management professional certification is one of the biggest achievement in the project life, and it's good to have this. And as you mentioned, Mr. Amer, so just to jump directly to this certificate, and knowing that I don't have the PMP certificate, so that's even more challenging. But it's happened because of you. I think if not you, boss, it will not happen.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ruslan. Mr. Sami, can you share his success journey and then we'll move to him?
Yes, first of all, very heartiest congratulations to Mr. Ruslan. We started on 30th of April. We had three colleagues, Ms. Sabina, his wife, Mr. Ruslan, and Mr. Fuad. And I would especially like to mention that the classes that I had with this batch, which was batch 6, were one of the most detailed sessions I ever had, because both all three were fully busy professionals directly jumping into the PGMP with very less background knowledge of even of PMI, not even I will say PMP. So I had to go on the very basic level. Then and in that period it was only 1.5 months when the new standard was launched. So we had to write the application on the new pattern. They were traveling in between. They had the vacations. It was really only motivation and dedication from Ms. Sabina especially and Mr. Ruslan or Mr. Fuad to have it done. And one thing was, they always remember from day number one, one is greater than zero. Even I still remember one class they had on Abu Dhabi when they were on vacation on the beach. You remember, Mr. Ruslan? They
Yeah,
joined on the telephone, and they said, Mr.
yeah,
Samir, we are fully busy. We took a time off, and we will study only 15 minutes, but we will study this class. So that was the
exactly.
motivation, that was the dedication. And now after around 8 months, they are all, both of them are certified. So very well done, and really good motivation for all the other aspirants, whoever wants to pursue this PGMP course.
Hmm. Thank you very much. Mr. Ruslan, let's walk through a very important thing, writing the application. How was that process? How Mr. Sami helped? How the entire your process was very interesting in a way, right? So if you can summarize it in your way.
Well, I think I was quite lucky person because it was quite challenging for me to write the application, and I think it was the one time it was rejected for the certain reasons. So then we worked together with Mr. Abdul Sami, and I will say that it's a really big appreciation to Mr. Abdul Sami. So without him, I know that. Mr. Amer, your work is also very big in this, so you worked a lot, but it was not on the front direct communication with me. But I saw the big support, and it's really a high appreciate from my side. So
Hmm.
uh, well, but in result we managed it. So it took some couple of weeks just to
Hmm.
finish the application, and then we received the successful information from the PMI that I passed that stage, and now
Hmm.
I can go for the preparation of the question. So,
Hmm.
well, after that moment, we spent how many months? We spent a couple of months because the summer was busy with the project stuffs. So then, with the motivation,
Please continue.
yeah, with the motivation of Mr. Abdul Sami. So I returned back and I put myself to the serious schedule that, okay, so this time I need to finish. Even this last moment. So when I asked, we discussed with Mr. Abdul Sami, he told that, okay, so when you are going to the vacation, I told that 20th of December is my date of flight. So after that, I will not be able to study. That's I know definitely. And he told that, okay, let's put it for the 19th of December. I'm sure that you will do it. I told myself that it will be difficult. It will not be easy. But I worked a lot. So during these 3-4 weeks, I don't know how I managed it, but every day I think I answered at least 200 questions every day, and that's a result of the success I think.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Mr. Sami, please.
Yes, first of all, application was done, and then how we were doing the chapter-wise questions. How relevant was it for you to understand the concepts and the tone of PGMP in the beginning?
Well, there was a lot of new definition for me. It was a lot of new terminology for me, as you mentioned that it was the direct the PGMP, not the PMP. So the one thing that you already passed the PMP and you know there are a lot of terminologies. Yes, of course, I have the project experience, half. So let's say that the half of the definition was quite familiar for me, and I used in my project experience, but some of the definition was different, and it was good to learn, good to have all this information, and I'm sure that it will be useful for me in future.
It will be useful for you. Okay, let's talk about the exam. How was the exam? What was the difficulty level of the exam? Because as we were discussing with Mr. Hemant just few minutes back, the challenging thing about the PGMP and the thing that I love now most is the exam has become more and more difficult, right? The exam is with every single day they are making it more challenging, more difficult. So being you said did a lot of questions. So how would you rate that?
Well, even I don't know how I moved and how I managed it, because it's like miracle for me, because all the questions and all the answer was absolutely different and new for me. But since we worked hardly and we worked on the different questions, we went through the booklet several times, through all the exam preparation materials. So we already knew the tone, so the tone was clear to me. Yes, I used the elimination technique. There was irrelevant answers, absolutely. And because we worked a lot of time on those scenarios with Mr. Abdul Sami, that was easy to understand. So what we need to eliminate and what we need to think about the right answer. But yes, that's correct. It's absolutely new questions. It was it was a very little, almost 10-15%, or maybe 20% of the similar questions which we did before. The other questions was absolutely new. But in the end, we have a good achievement, I think.
That is the most important thing. Okay, how important those coaching calls were? Question
Uh,
answer session, weekly question answer sessions.
I think it is very helpful. So without that, the success is not possible.
Success.
And the good side, it's also big appreciation to Mr. Abdul Sami that beside of the period when we had the coaching months, let's say after that, he followed up and he always invited us to the uh, let's say the common sessions. I don't know how you name it, Mr. Abdul Sami, so
Coaching
you can
calls.
Like
correct. Yeah,
master
coaching.
class, coaching
Most.
calls, then we had
Master
series.
class, coaching calls, so all this helped me a lot, because every time you just gave us the new updates. So what is the new, what we need to consider as a extra information, so what can be a new scenarios, etc. It's helped us a lot. Of course,
Okay.
without that, this success is not possible.
Without that, success becomes challenging. Okay, a very important question that I want to know. Why did you started PGMP and how did you started it?
Why I started the PgMP? Well, almost 15 years ago, I had a time to go through the project management certification on the George Washington University. It was in Azerbaijan. And that was my plan to have the project management, the PMP certificate, but due to the lack of the time, so I didn't manage. And then I didn't, I always ask myself that, okay, so I need to find the time and go through the PMP, But in one moment, I received the information, okay, so one of my friends, he just obtained the PGMP. I asked him, so is there any possibility for me without the PMP to go for the PGMP? He told that why not, just try this. And that was the first moment when I contacted Mr. Abdul Sami, and it was a big motivation that, yes, of course you can achieve it. And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. Okay, great to know that. Yeah.
That if you are asking me, so specifically the PGMP, because I know that in this hierarchy, the PMP, then PGMP is the next and very valuable certification. So it was always in my brain, so that one day I need to achieve it.
One day you need to achieve it. Okay. Yes, Mr. Sami.
Yes, especially like continuing with the coaching call topic, Mr. Ruslan was one of the students who attended almost every coaching call. In August, we had the coaching call series in which we did the blue background questions in 1 hour, only 10 questions. And he was one of the most important contributor to our discussions. And mostly his answers was a bit giving us a different perspective. The why not this and why not that. So I think with the new pattern of the exam, like in which Mr. Ruslan said, even we practice around 2,000 questions, right, Mr. Ruslan? Minimum
Yeah.
1,500 questions we are
Yeah.
practicing, and that are all different questions. And if out of 1,500 questions, only 20% are coming very similar, then other 130 questions, you have to understand the tone of the question, you have to understand different scenarios. So I think especially in the case of Mr. Ruslan and all other students who have just recently passed, from my think perspective, this master class series that we had, then we had this in August 20 straight days doing this 500 questions, and then especially when Dr. Maria came in, we had with her again the master class series, everybody was there. So how important you will rate this particular sessions that we had? One is weekly for sure, but this going together in one go, how important was it to summarize everything?
Yeah, and I remember this, Mr. Abdul Sami. So there was a lot of discussion. Sometimes it was argues as well, because there was answers which I didn't agree, and even I don't agree now as well with some answers. Yes, I know that it's a standard PMI, let's say, response. Like if you remember, there was a question that, so you are the program manager, but your high level, the sponsor is not allowing you just to do something. So what will be your response? So my answer was that, okay, so you just need to try and to resolve it with that higher level. But the answer was that you need to create the environment. How I can create the environment if the senior level is blocking me? So that was my perception. But we had a lot of similar cases with the long discussion. So well, the most important that now I understand the philosophy of the PMI. So, and I'm sure that it will help me in my life, in my experience.
Thank you very much. Now, the most of the important thing that I'm gonna ask you, Ruslan, each one teach one is the mantra. Yeah, the mantra that's the same we follow, and we need all of you sports how we worked into that way, how we can build that community. Because the goal here is to build a community so that we can expand further on, help more people. One final thing from my side. So, how important booklet was for you?
It was very helpful and very important. I would say that the reason why we passed this exam even with absolutely new questions as a booklet and the materials, the magic grid, the booklet, echo as well. Yes, the echo was the most challenging part for me. It was very difficult to remember all those key points in the echo, but the booklet and the magic grid is I will say that this is the most important thing which each student needs to read at least several times.
Okay, that's an important thing to that. Mr. Sami, anything that you would like to ask?
Yes, especially for Mr. Ruslan, like you, very busy professional, we took around 8 months to do it. How important is the follow-up? Just assume that you would have taken the training and we finished already in end of May. If there had been no follow-up, how you will find it different than sitting today?
Well, I had a discussion with my colleagues who passed the PgMP as well, but there was a lot of failures with the other students of his group. And when I asked, so if there was a follow-up from from the organizers, he told that no, there was no follow-up. So it was just a study program. And after that, they told that, okay, you are ready and you can go. I think one of the main reason why I have the success is a follow-up. With my schedule, if someone will not motivate me and will not follow up my success from the beginning to the end, it will not happen, of course. I don't know if I answered clearly to your question or not.
No, yeah, right. And also the thing that like say, number of times that we practice, and really if you are, for example, you how much real time you need to actually pass it. 3 months are enough, like most of our 80% students. If you are consistent, we finish the training in 1 month, then in 2 months, like you study in the last 2 months. Will you feel it's possible with taking 2 or 3 times the practice questions?
It's all depend on how busy you are. So if you are very busy, so if you don't have a time after the work, at least 1-2 hours, then it will be difficult to manage it in 2-3 months. At least you need to have the 1 hour or 30 minutes after the work to well, during the work time it's difficult. So every time you have the different interruptions, so everyone is coming and asking a question, especially if you are working on the manager on the senior level. Well, and all the people who is coming to the PgMP, they are on the higher level, so they are no, let's say, junior or the specialist level on this PgMP. So that's why to manage it during the working hours is not possible. You need to have a free space after the work, at least 1 hour minimum, I think. And if you can manage it in 3 months, yes, if you will put this target in front of yourself. For the last months, I spent every day at least 2-3 hours. Sometimes it was last 2 weeks, it was every day at least 5-6 hours. 5-6 hours after the work. It was not so easy.
Focus and dedication. So that is a summary for Mr. Ruslan. Once he got focused and it was dedication was there, then 5 hours late night. Every day I was asking, and before in Dubai was I think midnight, and then it was done.
Yeah, the dedication, motivation from the Mr. Abdul is the most important part, because he always chased me. So, well, what is your score? What is your result? Where are you now? So what you did? Without that, it's not possible, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruslan. Thank you very much, everybody, for that. And thank you very much for your time. And let's keep moving. Let's help each one into that thing, and let's help other peoples. Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahim. Thank you, Mr. Ruslan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruslan, for your time and your
Thank you.
wonderful
Thanks
advice.
a lot.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
highly appreciate again.
Thank you.